Hello everyone, my name is Louisa Lontang and I just had a meeting with police in Hamilton, and it was really a beneficial experience. On September the 20th, I went to the location of where Enbridge Line 10 is being installed, and I asked the workers at the site for the CPCN certificate and the water taking permit. According to our laws with the National Energy Board Act as well as provincial law, they're supposed to have those certificates with them at all times as engineers to show the certificate of public need and to show that they have gone through the process and secured the proper permits for the work they're doing. So what happened was they told me to park my car, which I did, and then I was delayed for over an hour. I called the police and I notified them about this delay that was taking place, and they said that they'd send someone to me. And a little while later, I received 3 police cruisers and 3 separate officers responding to my call. And I spoke to the officers, and it resulted basically in the decision that there was nothing they could do to help me. Part of the concern I had was the use of 3 separate police officers and 3 separate vehicles, and the tax burden that puts on the taxpayer simply to respond to an inquiry I had with the police. So what I did was I went over to the Hamilton Police today and I asked them about that process, because it seems a little bit too much. Too much of a response in terms of the cost and in terms of the inconvenience of the process for an answer which I thought they could actually provide over the phone. And so in discussion with the police, you learn their perspective is to monitor the behavior of the public and make sure everybody on all sides is compliant to the law to the best of their ability within the conduct of their jurisdiction that they can monitor. They don't have judicial power to assess things like certificates of completion or to assess the details of permits or those expertise level things. However, I did recommend to the police the establishment of a liaison officer who is familiar with the policies regarding protocols and procedures and pipelines. Because we're seeing a trend now where across Canada and the US, where there's pipeline opposition, there's this opportunity of engagement with the police. However, it's not usually of a good nature because the police lack expertise and jurisdictional power on issues specific to the concerns the public is trying to voice. So if, for example, the public has environmental concerns, the police don't have the jurisdictional knowledge or the expertise to assess environmental concerns. That's not their duty. Their duty is specifically to maintain the public peace. So when we rely on the police to step in and protect our communities from threats that we have regarding environmental risk or regarding conduct of engineering firms, we really, as the public, have the responsibility or the burden to review what department to complain to, and it's not the police. Okay, so what happens is that when the police go to these sites, they are unable to give the kind of response that the public is asking them to provide, and in turn the public is frustrated because they don't know who to go to or what the protocol is. So I would like to see Canada form a liaison officer who works with the police and who works with the public simply to provide guidance on policy and meaningful public engagement. So that way, when there are assemblies of people in protest, this officer liaison would go to the site and speak with the people to find out exactly what are the issues and then provide a guidance on how to have those issues addressed according to our existing policy. That way the dialogue can go to the departments responsible, and it would free up the burden of the police to handle it themselves, because currently that's the case, is that when a protest is underway, they're stuck just watching it and waiting to react to people's behavior rather than having the jurisdictional power to listen to the issue and responding to the core issue. And my concern is that there's a lot of misunderstanding of the public towards police that makes them perceive the police as being biased towards the company when they see that in action. Okay, when they witness the cops not taking action to shut down a project, the public perception is one that, oh, well, they're complicit. And that's not the case, okay? That's a misunderstanding the public has on the process. The actual thing we need is for the police to facilitate communications with someone who has the authority to be able to inform and educate the public on the protocol we can use to have our specific concern addressed. And I think that would go a long way to resolving conflict resolution. I think that would de-escalate situations, but it is the imperative of either the local or provincial or federal government to facilitate the creation of such an officer to be able to help the public in that regard. And I would like to see that done. Because right now, the police can't do anything and can't say anything, can't behave in regards to things that aren't their jurisdiction. Environmental concerns are not their jurisdiction. Protection of endangered species isn't their jurisdiction. License and permits is not their jurisdiction. They can only keep the peace, and that's based on the conduct of people. So when the frustration factor tips over and then the conduct becomes either aggressive or adversarial on either side, that's when they get engaged. And that's too late. I think that point can be averted by meaningful communication of a liaison person who can go to the people and tell them what the protocols are and who to talk to have their concerns reasonably addressed. Thank you very much. My name is Louisette Lontang, and I am an advocate for public safety and keeping the peace on all sides of the issue. I think that the dialogue from the public to the industry and to its regulators needs to be improved upon. And that's my view on that matter. Thank you.